Clarity and Connection, by Yung Pueblo Diego Perez. Introduction. Have you ever found yourself in an argument, and suddenly you're not just arguing about who left the dishes out? You're arguing about respect, about being heard, about a dozen old wounds you thought had healed. And in that moment, two people who care for each other are no longer talking. Instead, it's like their pasts are arguing through them. As the author of our book today puts it, it's trauma arguing with trauma. Or maybe you felt that quiet, crushing weight of your own expectations. You imagine a future, a perfect relationship, a dream career, a certain kind of life, and when reality doesn't quite match the movie in your head, everything feels like a failure. You're always missing what's right in front of you, because your mind is constantly jumping ahead to what more you could want. These feelings, of disconnection, of repeating the same painful patterns, of being at war with your own mind, are not just random struggles. They are symptoms of a deeper issue, a kind of internal static that clouds our ability to see ourselves and others clearly. Today, we're diving into a book that acts as a guide to tuning out that static. It's called Clarity and Connection. The author, who writes under the pen name Yung Pueblo, is a man named Diego Perez. His journey is a fascinating one. Born in Ecuador, he immigrated to the United States as a child and eventually found himself at a silent meditation retreat that would change his life forever. There, in the profound silence, he discovered that the path to real healing wasn't about changing the world outside, but about navigating the world inside. He adopted the name Yung Pueblo, which means young people, to signify his belief that we, as a global community, are entering a new era of self-awareness and healing. This book isn't about quick fixes or life hacks. It's a gentle but powerful invitation to undertake the most important journey you will ever take, the journey inward. So, here is my promise to you. By the end of our time together, you will understand the hidden architecture of your own mind, why you react the way you do, why your relationships sometimes feel stuck, and why your past has such a powerful grip on your present. More than that, you will have a map. A map that leads to a place of inner peace, sharper clarity, and the kind of deep, authentic connections you've always longed for. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about becoming a new version of yourself. Let's begin. Book summary. To understand the journey that Yung Pueblo lays out for us, we first have to understand the place we're all starting from. Think of your mind not as an empty slate, but as a landscape, shaped and carved by every experience you've ever had. Every joy, every sting of heavy emotion, every moment of intense feeling, they all leave their mark. He calls this our emotional history. For many of us, especially after a trauma or a period of intense difficulty, we shift into a kind of survival mode. We don't even realize it's happening. We shield ourselves with a layer of numbness, numb to our own inner turmoil, numb to letting others in. We spend our days running away from ourselves, always seeking company or entertainment so we don't have to face the dark clouds storming inside. Our relationships become shallow, not because we don't care, but because we are so far away from our own selves. We're like houses with no one home. We can change our location, meet new people, and yet we find we still have the same old problems, because the one thing we haven't changed is our inner world. This inner landscape, this emotional history, creates a powerful filter. We think we're seeing the world as it is, but we're actually seeing it through the lens of our past conditioning and our present emotional state. This is why we get stuck in loops. We fall back into old patterns, and the simple awareness that we're repeating the past is itself a sign of progress. But without a deeper understanding, we're destined to relive it. The friction we feel inside our own minds will keep overflowing into our relationships. This is the central problem the book identifies. We are disconnected from ourselves, and that inner disconnection is the root cause of our external struggles. So what's the solution? It's not out there. It's in here. The biggest shift in your life, Pueblo says, happens when you decide to go inward. This is the turning point. It's the moment you stop running and instead, you gently turn around to face what you find inside with acceptance. This isn't about fighting or fixing. It's about observing. And the tool you use for this observation is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the first light you switch on in a dark room. It's the foundation for everything that follows. It comes before the great leap forward in your personal transformation. It's simply the act of noticing. Noticing the rhythm of your thoughts. Noticing when they are clear and when they are out of sync. Noticing that you shouldn't trust the way you see yourself when your mood is down. This awareness is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. It requires you to question your perception and dig deeper into your real motivations. This inward journey can be difficult. As you start to look inside, you might uncover layers of old pain. Pueblo wisely tells us that when healing gets deep, there can be an explosion of emotion that occurs to clear out the old energetic debris. You might feel most agitated right before you settle into a more substantial peace. This is normal. It's part of the process. The goal isn't to fake being calm when you feel turbulent emotions, it's to accept what has come up without adding more tension to it. As you cultivate this self-awareness, you begin the central work of the book, which he calls unbinding. This is the art of letting go. Now, letting go is a phrase we hear all the time, but what does it actually mean? Pueblo offers a beautiful and practical definition. Letting go does not mean you have given up or that you no longer care. It's not about forgetting what happened. In fact, he says to throw away the idea that healing is forgetting. The real result of healing is no longer reacting to old triggers with the same intensity as before. The memories are still there, but they no longer have the same power over your mind. Letting go is the unbinding and disentangling of old behavior patterns that pull you into unnecessary mental tension and worry. We accumulate these patterns throughout our lives, especially during moments of intense emotion. They become ingrained in our subconscious. Time doesn't heal these wounds, it just gives them space to sink deeper, where they continue to impact our emotions and behavior. What truly heals is the intentional work of going inward, of loving and accepting yourself, and learning how to release these patterns. One of the most powerful patterns we need to unbind is our attachment. This is a crucial distinction Pueblo makes. It is not wrong to have desires, goals, or personal preferences. The problem isn't wanting things. The problem is attachment. Attachment is the mental tension you feel when you don't get exactly what you crave. It's refusing to accept change or trying to control everything. When a simple desire combines with tension, it morphs into craving. Craving, he explains, is an endless pit. Even when we get what we crave, the satisfaction is temporary, and soon the mind returns to craving more, because craving is what it knows best. This is the source of so much of our struggle. We get crushed by our own expectations, those rigid stories we create about how life should be. We become so focused on what's missing that we can't enjoy the special moments right in front of us. The path to freedom is learning to have goals without being attached to the outcome. It's pursuing your aspirations without making your happiness dependent on future achievements. It's learning to embrace change as the one constant in life. When we understand that everything is constantly flowing and moving, our tension decreases. This leads us to another profound shift in perspective. Pueblo makes it clear that it's not about managing your emotions, it is about managing your reactions to your emotions. This is a game changer. You cannot control the waves of emotion that pass through you: joy, sadness, anger, fear. They are natural. Trying to suppress them is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It will eventually pop up with even more force. The real work is to bring awareness into the process between feeling an emotion and acting on it. Your initial reaction, he points out, is usually your past trying to impose itself on your present. It's a dense pattern rising from the subconscious to protect you, but this form of defense is based on survival, not wisdom. When we can bring the light of awareness into that moment, we create a pause. In that pause, we have a choice. We can see more options. We can choose to respond instead of blindly reacting. We can feel a heavy emotion come up and choose not to act it out or make it worse. This is real maturity, observing your own inner turbulence and pausing before you project how you feel onto what is happening around you. So, we've journeyed inward. We've cultivated self-awareness. We've started the process of unbinding our attachments and managing our reactions. What happens next? How does this inner work change our outer world? This is where the second half of the book's title, Connection, comes into full bloom. The first and most important connection that deepens is the one you have with yourself. You stop being a stranger in your own home. You learn what rejuvenates you, the amount of solitude you need, the activities that spark your creativity, the people who light up your spirit. You begin to build a home within yourself, a palace of peace created with your own awareness and love. This becomes your refuge, a source of strength that no one can take away from you. And from this place of interconnection, a new kind of relationship with others becomes possible. Pueblo states it plainly: you cannot build a deep connection with someone who is disconnected from themselves. The depth of connection you can have with another person will only ever reach a depth equal to the relationship you have with yourself. When you have done the inner work, you show up differently. You bring a new clarity to your interactions. You learn the art of selfless listening, hearing someone's truth without projecting your own story onto it, receiving their perspective with complete acceptance. You learn how to hold space for another person, to act as a compassionate audience for their truth without interrupting or trying to fix them. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone. Your relationships transform from being based on expectations to being based on clear communication and voluntary commitments. Expectations are rigid and often unspoken, leading to disappointment. Commitments, on the other hand, are born from honest conversations. They come from asking a partner, "How can I better support your happiness?" When two people voluntarily commit to supporting each other's harmony, it creates a space of freedom and trust. Trust blossoms in the absence of control. A vibrant relationship, in this view, isn't about two people becoming one. It's about two whole individuals who are committed to their own growth, walking side by side. It's a sanctuary where you are safe to bring your vulnerability. It's finding a partner who isn't afraid to grow, who accepts you as you are but also inspires you to evolve. You don't have to be fully healed to be in a loving relationship. The couples who shine are the ones who commit to healing and growing together. This same principle applies to friendships. The deepest friendships are the ones that feel like home, where you can stop performing and be your authentic self. They are spaces where vulnerability is welcome. And a sign of a truly deep bond is what he calls sympathetic joy, the joy you feel for the success of another, an absence of jealousy. As you continue this journey, you begin to see that healing is not a destination you arrive at. You don't pause your life until you are fully healed. That's just another form of attachment to perfection. The goal is to embrace healing as a lifelong journey and allow genuine connections to emerge organically along the way. Progress happens when you make better decisions in the midst of living. And this is where the book takes its final, expansive turn, connecting our personal healing to the healing of the world. Yung Pueblo suggests that a human being is a microcosm of the world. The reactive patterns in our own minds mirror the rigid and harmful systems in society. The hurts that we carry are passed down through time, from one person to another, like an unwanted inheritance. He says one of the most heroic things anyone can do is to break this line of hurt. When people heal themselves, they stop the hurt from multiplying. They become a point in the giant web of humanity where harm is no longer able to spread. Your inner work is not a selfish act. It is a profound service to the world. The self-awareness we cultivate helps us rise above our old conditioning and decrease the harm we recreate in our interactions. The compassion we grow for ourselves naturally expands to include all people. He calls on us to recognize that our task is to make compassion structural. To build a world where people can feel safe and have their needs met. This inner work and outer work are not separate, they fuel each other. Self-awareness that becomes collective action is the medicine this earth needs. When you heal yourself, you also heal the future. In the end, clarity and connection leaves us with a quiet, powerful truth. A successful life is not about getting everything you want. It's not about being happy all the time. Real happiness is being able to enjoy life with a peaceful mind that is not constantly craving more. It is the inner peace that comes with embracing change. The journey inward is not easy. It takes effort, honesty, and patience. But if you persist, the fruits of your labor will have an immensely positive impact on your life. Your mind feels lighter. Your vision becomes clearer. You start arriving into your life and your relationships ready for deeper connection. You learn that you are a river, always changing, while moving gently in the direction of total liberty. Commentary. As we close the pages of Clarity and Connection, what truly stays with me is its profound simplicity. In a world that constantly screams for more success, more followers, more things, this book whispers a revolutionary idea. The path to a richer life is not through addition, but through subtraction. It's about unbinding, letting go, and removing the layers of conditioning and past pain that obscure the peace that's already within you. The most powerful lesson, for me, is the distinction between managing our emotions and managing our reactions to them. This is a subtle but life-altering shift. So many of us spend our lives feeling guilty for feeling sad, or ashamed for feeling angry. We try to control the weather inside us. Yung Pueblo gives us permission to let it rain, to let the storms pass, and to instead focus our energy on where we have true power, in the pause. In that tiny space between a feeling and an action, an entire universe of freedom exists. That's where we grow. That's where we choose the person we want to become. What makes this book so relevant, especially today, is its quiet insistence that our inner well-being is directly connected to the well-being of the world. It dismantles the myth that self-care is selfish. Instead, it frames healing as a fundamental act of responsibility. When you do the work to heal your own wounds, you ensure that the people who cross your path are safer from harm. You become a force for peace, not by protesting in the streets, but by refusing to be a vessel for inherited anger and fear. In our deeply interconnected and often turbulent world, there is perhaps no greater contribution we can make. So, how can you begin to apply these ideas today, right now, in your own life? Let's make it very simple. First, practice the pause. The next time you feel a strong emotional reaction rising, frustration with a friend, anxiety about a deadline, annoyance in traffic, just for 1 second, notice it. Don't judge it, don't try to stop it. Just observe it. That single moment of awareness is the beginning of everything. Second, ask the question. Yung Pueblo gives us a beautiful one to carry with us. Is this how I actually feel? Or is this my emotional history trying to recreate the past? Just asking this question can untangle you from an old, automatic reaction and give you back your power of choice. And third, practice selfless listening. The next time you're talking with someone you care about, set an intention to just listen. Don't plan what you're going to say next. Don't try to solve their problem. Just offer them the clean, quiet space of your full attention. See how it changes the quality of the connection between you? That was a journey through Clarity and Connection by Yung Pueblo. We've explored the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a photograph of a beautiful landscape. The real magic happens when you walk through it yourself. It's in the quiet moments, when a particular phrase or a simple poem resonates in a way you didn't expect. This overview is designed to help you decide if this is a path worth walking. If anything we've discussed has sparked something in you, I encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning, it's an experience, a meditation that can genuinely change the way you relate to yourself and to the world. A link to the book is in the description below. Also, if this exploration brought you any value or a moment of clarity, it would mean the world if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. That way, you won't miss our next deep dive into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and keep growing together.